Today I will show you how to get fairy jars and grow a garden, and explain why they are one of the most important items in the fairy event part 2. The only way to get a fairy jar and grow a garden is by catching fairies with a fairy net. You cannot buy jars directly, so you will have to craft nets and use them yourself. To craft a fairy net, head to the fairy gear crafting station near the fairy godmother. Press the E key to open the menu, then select the fairy net recipe. To make one batch of nets you will need 1 sub-bulk crop, 1 strawberry seed, 1 harvest tool, 100 fairy points. Once you submit all ingredients, wait for the crafting timer to finish. You will then receive 20 fairy nets in your inventory. Hold the fairy net in your hand and approach any roaming fairy. They spawn in the main Grow a Garden lobby during events, and you will also find many inside the fairy world. Press the left mouse button when you are close to a fairy, and it will be stored inside a fairy jar. Now that you know how to get jars, let us look at why you need so many of them. Fairy jars are used in 2 major ways. First, they act as a key crafting ingredient for almost every piece of fairy gear. Second, they can be submitted to Lumina in the fairy world in exchange for rewards. Here is the full list of items you can craft with fairy jars during the Fairy Part 2 event. Glimmering Radar, 1 fairy jar, 1 harvest tool, and 1 million shekels, fairy targeter, 1 fairy jar, 2 bamboo, and 1 million shekels, fairy collar, 1 fairy jar, 1 godly sprinkler, and 2.5 million shekels, fairy power extender, 1 fairy jar, 1 fairy collar, and 5 million shekels. Luminous wand, 2 fairy jars, 1 fairy power extender, and 10 million shekels, fairy summoner, 1 fairy jar, 1 fairy net, 1 fairy power extender, and 15 million shekels. As you can see, nearly every advanced item requires jars. That makes them absolutely essential for your progress. So, should you spend time farming fairy jars? The answer is yes. They are needed for crafting all high-tier fairy gear, and they can also be exchanged with Lumina for exclusive rewards. The more jars you have, the more options you will unlock. I recommend using every spare moment of the fairy event to catch fairies and stock up on jars. That is everything you need to know about fairy jars and grow a garden. Now you know how to craft nets, how to catch fairies, and how to use jars for crafting or trading. If this video helped you, tap the like button and subscribe so you never miss another Grow a Garden guide. Thanks for watching, and good luck catching your fairies.